I got a classmate kicked out of an elementary school concert. So in elementary school we had these things called shares, which were basically just concerts for our parents where we would stand on risers and sing songs. For the Veterans Day share, I was put on the back riser, second from the end. The boy at the end of the riser was really annoying me. I don't even really remember what he did, but he said something that made me snap. This was during my braids phase, and my hair was long enough that I had a decent tool to work with. I turned my head away from him and waited. When the chorus teacher wasn't looking, I whipped him in the face with my braid as hard as I could. It hit him so hard that he lost his balance and fell off the back riser. Now, he wasn't the best behaved kid in the class, so he was already on thin ice with the teacher, but this was his final straw. She only saw him fall off the riser, so she assumed it was his fault and kicked him out of the share. Whoops. Sorry, Andrew. I put poop in my checked luggage on the way home from a vacation. Oh god, I had mostly forgotten about this until I was watching a TV show where someone shit in someone's briefcase. This was quite a few years ago, almost 10 now. I was dating a guy online, and he flew me to Cali from my home state for a week-long visit/vacation. I am an incredibly nervous pooper, and sometimes when around new people I won't go for days on end. Well, that happened, as I was staying at his house and wasn't ever alone. The visit went well and we had a blast, but on the morning I was leaving, the urge to poop was too great. I went to take a shower to get ready to head for the airport, and pooped with the water on so he wouldn't hear. I felt so much better, until I tried to flush. It wouldn't go down. I fucking panicked. I was so embarrassed and didn't know what to do. So I wrapped my hand in a plastic bag I had put my soaps and stuff in and grabbed the monster 7 days of poop. The trash can was empty, so nothing to hide it under. So I put it in my suitcase I had with me in the bathroom. I was hoping I would be able to sneak it into another trash can at the airport before I checked my bag, but I lost my ticket in the car, and in my panic to find it I completely forgot about the poop. I got home like 8 hours later and found my shame. I was still so embarrassed I just threw it away and cried. I can't even imagine what someone thought if they had to search through my bag after I checked it. When I was 19 years old, I lied about having a summer job and smoked weed at a parking lot 3 days a week for 8 hours a day. At first, my apologies in advance for any grammar mistakes. English is my second language. So, I grew up with very kind and sweet parents. We are a wealthy family, but the one thing my parents are obsessed about is working. Their whole life is just about work. And in my teen years I was the most lazy person ever, never did anything. School was way too easy, everything just went well my whole life without effort. When I turned 19 and it was summer, the perfect moment to just relax, smoke weed and drink beers with my friends. But no. My parents insisted that I should get a summer job, probably because they were just annoyed by me doing nothing. So, I did what they said and applied for a job at a local restaurant as pizza delivery guy. The owner was a total jerk and insulted me all the time. After 3 days my shift was over and I never came back. Told my parents about the situation and of course they were not happy. 2 weeks passed and I still haven't got a job, and they began to annoy the frick out of me. They didn't care about anything else than me getting a freaking summer job. Finally I came to the decision to just lie about having a job at a storage facility. They were so happy for me, so I just continued the lie. I went off for work, drove my car to the train station and put my car in the parking lot and just smoked weed, listened to the radio and watched some movies I downloaded on my laptop. I told my parents my boss paid me in cash every month. I had a student loan at that time my parents didn't know about, since I was 18 plus, that is allowed in my country without my parents' consent, and that was exactly the right amount of money I would get for those hours I went working for. I did that for 3 months straight, even when school started again. I went off every Saturday and watched movies and smoked weed. They still haven't figured it out yet. Am I a bad person? I took it revenge out on my parents by leaving raw chicken in our hot garage for 8 days. Okay, so basically I was really mad at my parents because they kept favoring my brother and paying attention to only him and were completely ignoring me. So before we left for vacation later that afternoon, they asked me to grab a bag of ice from the freezer. Also inside that freezer happened to be a perfectly nice 8-count of raw chicken breasts. Now, unfortunately for them, the freezer was currently located behind a bunch of boxes so they couldn't see me. Now, right when I saw the chicken, they made some sort of joke about me, whispering, so I couldn't hear them. Something snapped. So I took out the chicken, grabbed the ice, set the chicken down, and walked off with the bag of ice in hand. Flash forward 8 days later, we come home and I could smell it from in our vehicle. This meat sat in the Florida heat, midsummer, and basically boiled in the humid garage for 8 days. There were thousands of maggots everywhere, huge hordes of flies just milling around, and the smell. Oh God, the smell. It was horrid. If anyone has ever experienced this before, I'm sorry. The chicken was basically melted, with huge maggots and flies all over it. The smell still remains in the garage 2 months later. I have no regrets. I pooped outside for 2 weeks straight. When I was 7 years old, I got the bright idea to swallow a nickel. I'm not really sure why I did this. I remember being curious about the taste of it. Anyway, I got scared after I swallowed it, and I told my mom. She went into full freakout mode, and she insisted that I poop outside so that she could make sure it passed. I have 3 siblings, so I was mortified at the thought of one of them knowing about any of this mess or, heaven forbid, seeing me. For the following 13 or 14 days, my mom made me poop in the backyard, and then she would go outside, find a stick, and sort through my poop to see if the nickel passed. She spent a solid 10 minutes out there each time, digging through my poop with a stick. By the end of week 2, my mom still hadn't found a nickel, but my dad was finally able to convince her that I wasn't going to get sick or die, so she stopped forcing me to shit in the yard. I've never told another soul about this until now, lol. I kicked out my neighbors. So I have this apartment next to my place that gets rented to school students throughout every school year. It was rented to 3 girls and they were extremely noisy. I tried talking to them but they just wouldn't keep it down. So it came to one night, at 11 p.m. when they were having dinner and laughing so hard that I couldn't sleep. I figured out I would just shout as hard as I can at them. So I did just that and they freaked out totally thinking that it was somebody in their house. So they called their parents and all, and when they did get there they knocked on my door and started fighting with me about why I'd shout like that. I kept it all under cover and said that I hear shoutings all the time and the neighborhood isn't really that safe and all. The girls ended up leaving the flat a week later. Used multiple social media accounts to make a girl hate me before meeting her, now we're friends based on a lie. In February 2018 I saw this person on Twitter, we talked frequently and became friends. She is a year older and lives about 8-hour car drive away. We bonded over a shared love of a TV show. In December 2018 I made another account on Twitter and copied her handle and profile and made fun of her and her friends. On Twitter I did use my middle name and didn't use any pictures. Eventually in February 2019 I messaged her and said that both accounts were mine, so she promptly blocked me. A couple days later I followed her on my Instagram with my real name and photos. I became friends with her but she didn't know I'm the same person. In May 2019 I heard she was going to an event later that month that was a 3-hour drive from her and a 5-hour drive for Maine. I was probably going to go to it anyways. I shared a 2-bed hotel with her because she knew me from Instagram and we were at this event for 4 days. I haven't seen her in real life since then but we still are talking on the phone or FaceTiming every day or two. I am planning to meet her again in November. She did nothing against me, I just felt like causing trouble. It's not the worst thing in the world but I shouldn't have done it. I used to tie knots in a girl's hair in elementary school during story time when she sat in front of me. To this day, I think about how mean this was. When I was in elementary school, I made friends with a girl who was a little mean and a prankster. I was young, so I didn't really know any better. Her and I used to sit with each other during story time on the floor, and whenever this one girl would sit in front of us, my friend would dare me to tie knots in her hair, and I did it. This girl had really long pretty hair, so it was hard for her to feel it when we were touching a few strands of hair to make each knot. I'm talking like 4 to 5 separate tiny knots on the back of her hair. We thought it would be funny if he went home and tried to brush through them. One day our teacher made an announcement to the class that whoever was tying knots in this girl's hair would get in trouble, and the girl looked like she had been crying. I'm guessing her mom got involved and called the school. We stopped doing it after that. It still makes me feel like shit to this day. I wanted to cut ties with my old best friend, so after our last big fight that ended our friendship, I told everyone that she killed herself and behaved as such. TLDR, after my best friend and I had a huge fight, I mourned our relationship by pretending she killed herself. I told everyone she did to buy myself some time and an excuse to be a depressed piece of shit. I still pretend she killed herself and nobody knows any differently. My old best friend and I had a toxic and codependent relationship. We were both suicidal, but I was on the verge of getting better, while she was stuck in her depression and getting worse. I came to the difficult realization that she was holding me back, and I couldn't get better if I was constantly digging her out of her hole. One night we got into a huge fight that ended our friendship. We'd had similar fights before that we came back from, but I didn't want to come back from this one. I was already depressed and emotionally drained, and I didn't want to go to class the next day. I tried to go in the morning, but I hadn't slept well and wasn't prepared for my class. I had this terribly shitty idea to email my professor that my best friend had killed herself because it would buy me a couple days off of school. So I did. I emailed him that she killed herself. I called my mom and cried about it. I told my roommates. To me, I was mourning the end of an important friendship. It was so hard to let go of her because I really did care so much about her, but she wasn't good for me. To this day, I act as though she died. I honestly don't think I'll ever tell anyone the truth about what happened. I know it's a terrible lie to have told, but I did it. We did catch up a couple years later. She was doing well, and so was I. Even though I didn't handle the situation well, I think the end of our friendship was very good for both of us. I stole from my parents to buy a Tamagotchi. Basically the title, but when I was 11 Tamagotchis were really popular in my school, and I did already have one, but I was desperate for a second one so that I could breed them by myself. I made a plan. I decided, I'd ask my parents for lunch money every day, but make myself a packed lunch too, so I would take that £2.50, and pop it in my money box, and I did this almost every day for 2 or 3 weeks until I had enough to buy the version 3 Tamagotchi I was dying to have. Sad thing is, I'm pretty sure they knew that's what I had done to be able to afford this new toy, but they never said anything. I just live with the guilt.